Uh-oh, Candace Parker. You've upset the Reese's Pieces and they're not happy about it. They're gonna be coming after you any second. Oh, they're already coming after you. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Candace Parker.
Uh-oh. Candace Parker just stepped into the hornet's nest and the Reese's Pieces swarm is already airborne. They're not just buzzing, they're dive-bombing her mentions like it's a search and destroy mission. Why?
As to put certain players in a tier list. You have the S tier, you have the A tier, you have the B tier, and you have the C tier. And where Candace Parker put Angel Reese on this list and her explanation about it, it has upset.
Because during a simple tier list discussion, where players were sorted into S tier, A tier, B tier, and C tier, Parker placed Angel Reese in a spot that sent the fanbase into full meltdown mode. And the explanation she gave, calm, logical, and rooted in basketball reality, was like lighting a match in a fireworks warehouse. Suddenly, it wasn't just a tier list. It was a referendum on loyalty, respect, and whether Parker had crossed an invisible line you apparently can't cross without facing a virtual mob. The fallout was instant. Social media went DEFCON 1. Reese's biggest defenders treated Parker's words like a personal attack.
Who had comments on Angel Reese and it went viral. People were saying, oh, you're an Angel Reese hater.
They asked me my opinion on player tiers, and my thing is then if you bring something to the argument, bring something else. Can she get to player A or player S or whatever? Yes, she can right now.
Acting as if she had insulted their family name and stolen their brunch reservation in the same breath. Kennedy Carter, never one to miss an opportunity for a little mischief, seemed to pivot from baller to part-time internet comic, throwing out her own commentary with the kind of precision reserved for roasts, not box scores. It became less about basketball and more about spectacle, a live reality show starring Chicago Sky drama with jump shots as commercial breaks. The wild part? Parker didn't even throw shade. She committed the real sin, saying the quiet part out loud. Her point was simple. Could Reese reach the upper tiers eventually? Absolutely. But was she there yet? No. And when you stack her current performance next to players who have been delivering at the highest level for years, the comparison doesn't hold up. That's not hate. That's context. But try telling that to a fan base armed with memes, hashtags, and a flair for outrage. Candace's words landed like a steel-toed boot on a glass table. Suddenly everyone forgot the table was already wobbly. Reese's game is strong in certain lanes. Yes, she's a matchup headache in the paint. Yes, she's a relentless rebounder. But Parker's point was about the complete package.
I don't know if she's alongside those players in Bs, and you're measuring her against players that have been in the league for years.
Right.
And so I think that, I've faced it on the men's side when people attack you for what you look like or who you are. That's usually not.
At the top tiers, you're comparing full toolkits. Passing, defense, leadership under pressure, offensive versatility. Every box has to be checked. Right now, Reese is still missing some checks. And that's fine if we're being realistic. But in the age of instant coronations, realism doesn't trend. Candace also didn't shy away from putting other names in slots that raised eyebrows. Some fans lost it over Arike Ogunbowale being lower than expected, pointing to her shooting efficiency, or lack thereof, as the reason. Cameron Brink landed in C tier not as an insult, but because she's still an unknown quantity at the pro level. And yes, Caitlin Clark was slotted in A tier, with the note that she's on track for S tier once she has more seasons and defensive impact under her belt. But for some reason, the Reese ranking became the hill to die on.
I always know she's a matchup nightmare.
Oh.
Paige Beckers, I can't put her above.
We put Arike in the B tier? Come on. Arike is like a D tier player. Arike is a shot chucker. She can barely shoot 35.
Maybe it's because the hype machine around Reese has been running full throttle since college, fueled by highlight reels, personality clips, and a PR push that rivals a political campaign. The branding has been so airtight that questioning her placement feels to her fans like questioning the whole narrative they've bought into. The uncomfortable truth? Reese's current game still has holes. She's not the second coming of Lisa Leslie yet, despite how often she's photoshopped with a crown. She can dominate the boards, yes, but there are stretches where her offense looks predictable. Her free throw shooting becomes an adventure, and her decision-making under pressure sputters. You can love her potential and still admit those truths. But in today's climate, that's like juggling lit dynamite. The reaction wasn't just online rants, it was a full-scale rewriting of Parker's intentions. Suddenly, people were questioning her motives, accusing her of tearing down another black woman, implying jealousy, and twisting a basketball evaluation into a personal attack. The irony?
But go on, Candace, but go on.
Sabrina's and the KP's and the Caitlin Clark.
Page B
But I
tier.
can put her at that B level.
Okay.
The more Arike and her play together,
All right.
the better they're going to make one another. Cameron Brink, I think, is, the unknown. So I put...
Parker has one of the most decorated resumes in the sport. Olympic golds, WNBA titles, finals MVPs. If anyone's earned the right to speak on player tiers, it's her. And yet, here she was, painted as a villain for giving an honest, measured take. Then you have the Caitlin Clark angle. While Parker's evaluation of Reese was fair, her take on Clark drew its own critics. Some argued she undersold Clark's immediate impact, especially given how she shredded defenders this season like they're auditioning for a blooper reel. Clark isn't just shooting deep threes, she's changing game plans, forcing opponents into desperate full-court presses and exposing every defensive weakness in real time. Give her 3 inches of space and she'll turn it into a highlight and a morale killer. Reese herself has been on the wrong end of those moments, getting caught in mismatches that Clark exploits without mercy. And that's the thing. If we're talking pure on-court dominance right now, Clay T.
To Candace, fix it. I'm calling on you because I got confidence. You're one of my favorite players of all time. And I talk about you in all of the different conversations if you go and look at the network yourself. So the
deeper this saga went, the clearer it became that the outrage wasn't really about basketball. It was about identity, image, and the way fandom can morph into blind devotion. Candace Parker wasn't tearing anyone down. She was holding a player to the same standard she'd hold herself to. But Reese's Hive took that as blasphemy, as if evaluating her game in the same way every other player gets evaluated was somehow crossing a sacred line. And that's where the conversation turns uncomfortable. Because when you strip away the emotions, you start to see patterns. Reese's biggest weapon is her offensive rebounding. It's elite, no one's denying that. But outside of that, her scoring is often limited to putbacks, transition opportunities, or mismatches she can bully in the post. Against well-prepared defenses, she's less of a dominant force and more of a grinder, chipping away instead of taking over. That's not a crime, it's a stage in development. But the hype machine doesn't leave room for stages. It sells the final product before it's finished. And if you point that out, you get labeled a hater. Meanwhile, the turnovers, those have become their own subplot. 10 in a game? That's not learning the ropes.
Parker, fix what you said, what you did. You know what you did when you did, how you did it. Fix it, Candace, because Angel Reese is top tier.
That's handing the opposition a free buffet of extra possessions. In the pros, elite players might make 10 mistakes in a week, not a night. And the worst part? These aren't all forced errors by elite defenses. Some are simple mishandles, lazy passes, or poor reads that signal a lack of composure under pressure. A-list players don't just survive the pressure, they weaponize it. They're the ones breaking traps, not getting swallowed by them. Candace Parker knows this because she's lived it. She's played in games where one possession meant everything, and she delivered. She's also seen players buckle, and she can spot the difference instantly. That's why her evaluation matters. It's rooted in experience, not emotion. But let's be real. A lot of people defending Reese right now aren't defending her game. They're defending a version of her that exists in their minds, one built from Instagram clips, bold quotes, and curated highlight reels. It's the image of the unapologetic, confident star who can't be told she's anything less than the best. And while confidence is crucial, in sports it has to be paired with production. When the production wobbles, the confidence starts looking like a mask. The irony is that Parker actually gave Reese a roadmap. She didn't say she couldn't reach S tier, she said she's not there yet. The yet is important. It means there's time, potential, and opportunity.
And oranges, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
at least
they don't play the same
They
position.
like doing the Magic and the Bird comparison. Well, they played similar positions. Like Bird, he played the guard position. Like they at least kind of match up. What are we doing? I'm not falling into that.
But instead of focusing on that, the narrative became, Candace is hating. That's the easy story. The harder one is admitting that improvement is needed. The comparison game makes it worse. Caitlin Clark, in her first season, has already shown the ability to take over games with her shooting, vision, and adaptability. She's faced defensive schemes designed solely to stop her, and she's still producing. Reese, meanwhile, excels when she can play her game on her terms, but struggles when teams take away her primary strengths. That's the gap Parker was talking about. Not heart, not hustle, but versatility. And versatility is what separates the good from the great. Then there's Kennedy Carter, who somehow became the unofficial narrator of this whole drama. Her posts, whether subtle digs or flat-out trolling, kept the fire going, adding an entertainment layer that made this feel less like a sports debate and more like a running TV series. She played the role of the instigator perfectly, amplifying the chaos without even needing to say much. It was the art of letting implication do the work. But while Carter stirred the pot, the bigger issue was unfolding on the court. The Sky's season was sliding, the chemistry was shaky, and Reese's inconsistencies were part of that equation. You can't just measure her by the good nights. You have to factor in the rough ones, the ones where her impact is limited to rebounds because the offense stalls when it runs through her.
I'm not into the comparison. I think that there are a number of things that Angel can improve on, will improve on in the situation she's in. And I think Caitlin Clark has done that even in her first year in terms of, being able to be that floor general, her and Aaliyah, Boston's connection.
And this is where Parker's C-tier placement starts looking less like shade and more like charity. Because if you remove the name and just evaluate the skill set and consistency, there are players producing more complete games right now who get half the media attention. That's not Reese's fault. Media narratives are their own beast. But it does create a distorted picture. Fans latch onto the hype and tune out the flaws, which is why Parker's honesty hit so hard. It wasn't just that she said it, it's that she said it in a space where sugarcoating is the norm. And when the truth crashes into the myth, sparks fly. The turnover conversation might be the most revealing example. Elite players treat the ball like it's made of gold. They know every possession is a currency that can't be wasted. Reese's double-digit giveaway game wasn't just a bad night. It was a flashing neon sign that her handle and D
tier list and put of all the top players in the WNBA, where, by the way, every single player, or like all the players on this list, were good. So there's no bad players. It's like if you had a tier list where you only had the top 10 players